everybody, and welcome to yet another video. I literally just didn't want to bring out my ring light, so I'm sitting in a new spot where I have all natural light. So let's hope that I stay in focus and that I'm not too washed out. I'm curious if there's anybody else out there who made these totally realistic life plans for yourself when you were younger. I'm talking about that lifelong plan that we made back in like junior high or high school or whatever. For me, I thought I was going to graduate college at 21, 22, work for a few years because it's that simple to get your dream job right out of college, then get married by 25 and then maybe travel for 2 years with my significant other, have a baby at 27, buy a home, buy a car or two for my family, pop out like 2 or 3 more kids by the time I'm 31, 32. Oh, to be young and with no responsibilities again. I could not be further from that plan. In fact, I am actively avoiding that plan because the more I think about it, the more I feel like I disappointed my younger self. I mean, I'm currently 27, I'm not married, I'm still in grad school, I haven't traveled enough, and I am so far from starting a family. My point is that making a life plan didn't work for me, and typically it doesn't work for a lot of others either. And it's that time of year again. Graduation. People are either graduating high school or maybe undergrad. On one hand, it's super exciting because you're done, you've accomplished this, but then on the other hand, it's terrifying because what happens next? This is where that life plan comes into play. A lot of questions bubble up like, what are my plans for college? Am I even going to college? Am I gonna move out? If I'm graduating college, do I plan to just get a corporate job? Is that what I even want? Am I interested in grad school? Probably not. Do I even have the money for anything right now? Again, probably not. If you're in this situation right now, take a breather. But I am here to tell you that the best things in life happen when you don't have a set plan. So today we're going to talk about why you should focus more on your goals rather than setting a plan, and why you should start embracing uncertainty. Pretty much, I'm going to tell you the things that I wish I knew after graduating undergrad with a few pieces of advice sprinkled in. The moment you erase your life timeline, you start to enjoy where you're currently at. What I mean is you start to feel less disappointed. When I graduated and I didn't land a full-time job and didn't get into the grad school of my first career option, I was really hard on myself. And I laughed because it's like, why? All of that wasted energy. But it was because I felt like I was so behind everyone else that was around me, and that I thought I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying just slack off and let whatever happen happen. I just mean that I started to make more effective decisions in my life because my vision wasn't so clouded. I wasn't thinking about like what other people thought about me, and I wasn't thinking about every possible situation, all of those what ifs. I was able to make decisions based on what was realistic and what was best for me. So through this, I hope you realize that it takes multiple paths to get to where you want to be, even if it's like multiple paths for one specific goal. And those paths aren't linear either. Some goals of yours may require more time and effort than others. By not sticking to a very strict life plan, your happiness isn't going to be overshadowed, and you'll feel that nice weight lifting off your shoulders. Speaking of very strict plans, if you stick to one, you're just gonna be limiting yourself. And look, there's nothing wrong with planning. I'm not saying that there is. But it turns into a problem when you become so attached to that plan. I like to plan my life like I'm looking at a map. And I'm talking an old school paper map. You see your starting point, you see your end point, and you have a rough idea of how you're gonna get there. But let's say that you're driving along your route and then you see some kind of detour that interests you. Obviously, we want to see it, but we don't know. We don't know. So we start to ask the questions. If I go off course, is there going to be something that I'm unprepared for? How long will this take? Is this going to affect my goals or me reaching my goals? Honestly, you can make those detours and still be on track for your goals. I don't know why we don't see that. And in fact, you may find a better route to your goal, or you may realize that it wasn't the best decision, so then you just backtrack, and then get right back on to where you left off. The worst is skipping it and never knowing if the outcome was gonna be something great. I was so set on becoming a physical therapist. I took the extra classes because I was a psych major, so I didn't have all those science classes completed. I applied for PT school and I interviewed. Unfortunately, I didn't get in. It's their loss, honestly. It's not my loss. But I was completely stuck and I needed to find a new path very, very quickly. But because I was so focused on my original goal, I didn't even open myself up to the opportunity of other career paths. So don't make the same mistake that I did and have tunnel vision for your goals. And remember that it's okay to deviate from your plans time to time. Another that I think people forget is that people change and plans change with them. In fact, plans should change with them. I don't know, I feel like we all know someone who's got that 1 year, that 5 year, that 10-year plan. Having that vision is amazing, but honestly, what happens when you're not that same person anymore a year from now? How does that change your 5-year or 10-year plan? Well, what if you don't want the same things anymore? And in some cases, those life plans really limit our growth. If I stuck with that plan that little old 18-year-old me made, I would be miserable. And what gets me is that people don't realize you need to know yourself in order to plan that far ahead. And regarding plans changing, look at how the industries have changed ever since COVID. Something like that could open a whole bunch of career paths for people who saw those occupations in a different way back then and now see them in a new light. Okay, so this one I recently am starting to accept. The time that you're taking to figure things out is not wasted time. So I will tell you what wasted time is. It's going through with something knowing how unhappy it makes you. I've got so many friends in healthcare that have openly said to me that they wish they had gone down a different career path, but they chose not to because it was a safer option. I don't want that. I really don't want to experience that. So let's say you choose the safer option. In the end, a lot of people end up contemplating a new opportunity. But it's weird because if they had used the time in the past to really be real with themselves and what they want, they could have used their time in a more effective manner. That is what I see as time wasted. There's a big difference between waiting for something to just happen and actively trying to figure things out. All right, and the last is plain and simple. Have goals and aspirations, but don't get so caught up in the planning of how to attain them. You should stop planning your life and instead list out your goals, your ideal goals in short-term and long-term forms. I think I talked about this in another video. I don't want to be too repetitive, so I'm not going to go too much in detail with this. But anyway, this gives you the chance to enjoy the process of working towards your goals. You may even become more open to new experiences, whether or not they were in your original plan. And through this, you end up growing and adapting. And my favorite about that is that those new experiences will most likely teach you a lot about who you are and what you want out of life. So yeah, that's today's video. I don't know, I don't understand how we think we have the confidence to plan out our lives as though we've had it all figured out. We can't control everything that happens. Impossible. So if we know this, why do we try to micromanage it all the time? It takes a millisecond for something to happen, whether that's good or bad. So if you are someone that was me a few years ago in a moment of absolute panic, of not knowing what's gonna happen next in my life and just having no idea of what to do with my life, take a second. It will work out. And I'm telling you, it is okay to not have a life plan. We're all gonna make it through it. Feel free to subscribe. If not, feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is intricate. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next one. Thank you. Bye.